Children learn by doing, by building, by creating. Those of us who dream big can carry that joy of creativity all through our lives. Bechtel is proud to present Dream Big. We never really saw our world until they showed it to us. Through the power of imagination, they astonish us. They're called engineers. With each life-changing creation, like the International Space Station, engineers enhance the human experience. They build civilizations. Every bridge, every building grows from an engineer's imagination. There are now 7 billion of us, and by 2045, there will be 2 billion more. Where will we all live? Will we have enough clean energy? The boldest solutions start with the biggest dreams. Menzer Pehlevan grew up in Turkey.
I was a girly girl. I was a lead in the school plays. I actually wanted to be an actress. Until I was 13 when everything changed. We lived in a high-rise building. I remember my mother waking me up, terrified that the building would come down. I remember watching the people suffering. From that moment on, I knew what I wanted to do. Today, I'm a professional engineer in Seattle, hoping to make structures safer during earthquakes. I love my job, and I want kids to be excited about engineering as much as I am.
Are you ready for the earthquake? Yeah! 3, 2, 1. Let's start slow. Which one is faster?
To design safer buildings, we study how soil moves during an earthquake.
The engineers test building prototypes on the big shake table. To learn more, Menzer studied countries like Nepal, where earthquakes can be severe.
Nepal is a very poor country where most of the houses were built without any engineering design. Stone houses, they're an accident waiting to happen.
In 2015, a massive earthquake struck Nepal. Eight 8,000 lost their lives. But some survived, including the miracle baby, buried in the rubble for 22 hours. To do her part, Menzer took time off from work and flew to Nepal to join a team of fact-finding engineers.
We collect data on ground failures before the evidence washes away. We need to work fast.
Namaste, Babu. Namaste.
Namaste. Different types of soils act differently. Some soils act like a jello. Others act like a liquid and lose all their strength. Farmers led us to a field where carrots popped out of the ground. A clue that this soil acted like a liquid during the earthquake. That's what we call liquefaction. I remember when I was 13. I know what these kids are going through. The emotional aftershock of an earthquake can last for years. This is why I became an engineer.
After leaving Nepal, Menzer went to San Francisco. Here, engineers had a unique challenge: designing the city's tallest skyscraper at a site prone to liquefaction. The engineers solved it from the ground up. Menzer's team tours the site where the engineers sunk massive concrete columns all the way down to bedrock to resist earthquakes. Keeping people safe has always been the heart and soul of engineering. The first emperor of China faced a problem. Mongol warriors were invading from the north. So the emperor's engineers began building something that would preserve their civilization for almost 2,000 years. The Great Wall grew to be 13,000 miles long, the largest structure ever built by humans. After centuries of erosion and earthquakes, much of the wall survives. Steve Burrows, an engineer from England, has come to investigate.
It's really tough to study the wall when it stands there right on a knife edge on the top of a mountain. But we have our ways. This is LiDAR, the laser imaging device. The LiDAR showed that the most precisely built parts are standing well today. However, miles away, badly built sections of the wall are also still standing. Why? 500 years ago, the builders added a secret ingredient to their mortar. It's sticky rice. Adding sticky rice and lime to the mortar, it makes the mortar more elastic because it allows the wall to stretch and contract depending on the temperature. Sometimes the best solution is the simplest, the one staring up at you from your dinner plate.
In western China, across the highest bridges on Earth, people are moving from farms to cities. Shanghai is now the most populous city in the world. 24 million people. But there's a problem. No more space to build. Where can they all live? Engineers squeezed an entire urban district into one city block by going vertical. They envisioned China's tallest building, the Shanghai Tower, rising 128 floors high with space for 16,000 people. But the taller the structure, the more it flirts with Mother Nature. Each summer, typhoons blast the city. The Shanghai Tower would soon become a huge target. But the engineers had some tricks up their sleeve. By twisting the outer skin 120 degrees, the wind safely glides around the tower. Here, the problem of population density has been met, all thanks to the ingenuity of a twist. Wind is an intriguing challenge for engineers of all ages. Menzer makes a game of it.
Okay, this competition will count as 10 points, and the tallest skyscraper that resists the wind will get 5 extra. Yay, excited? All right. Now remember, planning is important. Before cutting, make sure what you're building.
Building these paper skyscrapers teach kids the most important thing. Engineering is fun.
Oh, it's getting
In 1940, the newly opened Tacoma Narrows Bridge near Seattle earned the nickname Galloping Gertie. A moderate wind gusting to 40 miles an hour made the bridge bounce, resulting in collapse. Fortunately, no one was killed. Engineers learn from catastrophes. New insights about the impact of wind on suspension bridges have led to better designs. Near Menzer's home in Seattle, 2 safer bridges have replaced Galloping Gertie. A large bridge can connect people, and so can a small one. After graduating from college, a young bridge engineer had a choice to make: accept a high-paying job or follow her heart. Today, Avery Bang leads a team of passionate engineers building footbridges in poor countries.
In Haiti, I worked with kids whose village was isolated. Just across the river was the only school, and they could see it. It was right there, but they just couldn't get to it.
Over the past decade, 50 people have drowned trying to cross this river. A man who grew up by the river, Fritz Tuisson, offered to help. He had a very personal stake in this bridge.
3 years ago, when our youngest girl needed medicine, Mathilde, my wife, headed off to the clinic across the river. The river was very high that day. Now, I have 8 children to raise on my own. To get to school, my kids crossed the river right where their mother drowned. Mathilde was everything to them.
They needed a bridge. Falkirk is frugal with electricity, but renewable energy holds an even brighter future. From their small town in Mississippi, these high school students will take the solar car they built themselves and compete in the Solar Challenge. Some of the kids have never been to the next county, much less Australia.
My name's Ajay Patel. I'm in the 10th grade and this is my second year on the solar car team. I like the hands-on part where you can actually drill and use our brains more and solve problems.
In the Solar Challenge, the world's top university teams will race 1,600 miles on solar power alone.
All the cars are kind of strange and elegant. They're really extreme and expensive. All of them except for one. Across the finish line, even if we were the last ones.
Solar energy can power a single car or an entire city. The world's largest solar facility, the Ivanpah Solar Electric Generating System, reduces CO2 emissions by over 1,000 tons every day. Hundreds of thousands of mirrors slowly pivot to keep the hotspot focused on the boiler at the top. Water inside turns to steam and drives turbines, which produce electricity for our cities, like Phoenix, Arizona, where Angelica Hernandez is an engineer working on renewable energy.
I feel like I've really got it all. You know, I have an amazing husband, I have a super cute baby, and a job as an engineer, which is one of my dreams. But you know, I didn't start out that way. I grew up on the poor side of town. My mom worked really, really hard just to get by. Then I went to Carl Hayden High School, where I met an amazing, inspiring teacher who changed my life, Freddie Legivardi.
So, I see one way you can solve this. You can stop your catapult.
I joined his after-school robotics class, and the problems weren't easy to solve, but Freddie always knew how to make it fun.
Leave you in a higher trajectory. You're doing a good job.
Got this.
All right.
The kids are just having so much fun. They were learning so much. They didn't even realize that they were learning, and that was the best part.
Awesome.
They heard about a national underwater robotics competition in Santa Barbara, California, and on a whim, decided to enter.
Heads up.
We didn't have much funding, but if you can't be expensive, be clever. So we used cheap landscaping pipes. In Robotics Club, Freddie taught us a system. To find the problems, come up with different solutions, and pick the best one. But the one problem we couldn't solve was the smell of the pipe glue. It just stunk. So we named our robot Stinky.
Working, yeah.
Stinky was a bunch of pipe with a little bit of CPU and a whole lot of cables.
$6 months and $800 later, Stinky was ready to go.
Okay, guys, let's hurry up and get Stinky in here.
Sadly, Angelica had work commitments and had to miss the trip.
I was really disappointed, but, you know, I said my goodbyes, and off they went.
Stop me on the corner, swear you hit me like a vision. I wasn't expecting, but who am I to tell fate where it's supposed to go with it? Don't you blink, you might miss it. See, we got a right to just love it or leave it. You find it and keep it, 'cause in it every day you get the chance to say, oh, esto piensa así. En la corazón, no sirve, brillando más que el sol.
The team arrived in Santa Barbara the day before the competition. Some of the best engineering programs in the country compete, like MIT, the champs from the year before.
We're going with a mindset that we were going mainly as observers.
And if we beat just one college, that would be phenomenal.
When we arrived there, I mean, we looked like the carnival had arrived. Just a raggedy robot. Looked like we just pieced together everything from a junkyard.
That's MIT.
The other robots were like pieces of underwater jewelry.
Yeah, if I see it.
They were chrome.
Start turning.
They were stainless steel. They were manufactured plastic.
It keeps turning Starbucks. Which button? Which button? Okay, fine.
These high school kids wanted to quickly test Stinky before anyone noticed them.
The robot was going left when they wanted to go right, wouldn't go up when they wanted to go up.
We had to figure out what was going on.
Freddie has always told his students, when you get in a jam, start asking smart questions.
We had a small leak, but no clue where it was.
If we can't find the leak, what can we do?
And then Lorenzo asked everybody, aren't tampons really absorbent?
This was a do or die kind of situation.
I got him!
Yeah!
It wasn't about building a robot. It was about learning how to learn for yourself.
The boys arrived at the competition exhausted, without a chance to test Stinky.
We had no idea if this solution would work.
Thanks to a wild idea, Stinky was working again. The boys had 30 minutes to complete 10 tasks. The college teams had a laser to measure distances. Carl Hayden couldn't afford one. They used a tape measure instead.
The hardest task was to sample the fluid from a barrel with a tube. Most of the teams didn't even attempt it.
When we went straight to it, it just fell into it like it was meant to be or something.
At the awards banquet, they heard something that surprised everyone.
And second place goes to Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
MIT got second place.
I was thinking, who's first? Oh man, who beat MIT? This is gonna be awesome.
First place goes to Carl Hayden High School from Phoenix, Arizona.
It was almost disbelief.
Is this a dream or is this for real?
I don't remember walking to the stage because, I was just floating, I think.
What started out as a crazy idea turned into something so much more. Today, that high school robotics club has grown exponentially, largely thanks to Freddie.
We're not gonna block time.
Knowing that somebody believes in you, even though you don't believe in yourself, even though you doubt that you could do something, I think you know, if you could find that in somebody, it's a blessing.
It was because of him that Angelica went to Stanford.
Now my husband Juan and I are both engineers in Phoenix. And I mean, you never know. Maybe my daughter will be one too. And any chance I get, I like to help my favorite teacher inspire future engineers.
The same thing with this one. It's not doing it because it's a triangle. It's very solid. It doesn't change shape.
So now we want you to come up with different ways to make the bridge stronger so you see the truck in front of you so it can make it across the bridge. You guys want to try that? Yeah! All right, let's try it.
Do it.
Well, I think they need to try to have more triangles.
There's barely any support going along the bottom.
Yeah, I think they should put a sign and say no trucks allowed.
The screw is not stable, period, because it fell apart. The whole bridge
It's not stable at all.
We have to find ourselves about budget cost.
Yeah,
But how about we cross that bridge when we come to it, because I think
Young minds find new paths. It was not physics alone that led to the Millau Bridge in France. It was art.
And what are the triangles for? Why are you choosing like straight?
Young minds will shape our future.
Stability, right?
Some young engineers have a bold dream to revolutionize transportation. It's called Hyperloop. If they succeed, they'll allow us to travel 700 miles per hour. That's from LA to San Francisco in 30 minutes. By the end of the century, 90% of us will live in cities, an exciting challenge for engineers. The bigger cities get, the smarter they'll need to become.
This new transportation hub in San Francisco will feature a network of wireless sensors. This will make it safer, more energy efficient, and smarter. The more urban we become, the more we need trees, gardens, and places to play.
The word engineer means ingenious.